The Inside Edge Network is brought to you by Fanatics. Fanatics isn't just our name, it's who we are. Loyal, passionate fans, dedicated to our favorite teams and athletes, to the sports we love. That's why we're honored to be able to offer fans the world's largest collection of official sports apparel and sports jerseys from all the leagues, teams, and players you love. We're talking NFL, Major League Baseball, NBA, National Hockey League, the NCAA. I'm a wrestling guy as well. We got WWE apparel available too. It allows us to serve fans of football, baseball, hockey, basketball, lacrosse, soccer, golf, and everything else that gets your heart pumping. Go to fanatics.com by using the QR code on your screen right now to celebrate your teams. It's right there in the corner of your screen. Get your official gear. Level up with us at fanatics.com.
Discover our collection of body mists made with clean, minimal ingredients. Handcrafted with natural essential oils and clean ingredients, they offer a natural alternative to synthetic fragrances. Perfect for sensitive skin and those seeking clean, mindful self-care, and the perfect gift for you or your special someone. Courtesy of Alley Rose Fragrances. First-time customers, use that promo code InsideEdge20 to receive 20% off your order. AlleyRoseFragrances.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader.
And I'm getting mighty tired of your trifling ways and of listening to that bray.
Episode 2 officially of Unfiltered. I am your host, Kyle Cornell. Welcome in to a dreary, rainy Tuesday, but it is a Tuesday nevertheless, and it is election day here in the beautiful state of Ohio. Plenty of things to get into today. Quick rundown on the show. We're going to talk elections, obviously a lot of statewide, some big primaries going down here today. You still have till 7:30 tonight to vote, so make sure that you get out there and cast your votes on that. Also, going to talk gas prices. It was bound to come up at some point pretty quickly in this program. Definitely some things to keep an eye on, and kind of the whole reason why we're in that pickle that is this gas price issue. I want to talk a little bit about some stuff going on at the zoos in Ohio, mainly in Cleveland and Akron here this past weekend. But it's been happening the past couple weeks with all the zoos. You know, Toledo, Columbus involved as well. We're going to get into that a little bit later in the program as well. And if you saw this story, we're going to save it for the end of the show because our crack producer Eli actually knew the person that was hurt in this, involving a flag football referee and a son of a person who was playing in it in a flag football game from over the weekend, and it got really bad. And we are going to have more details on that coming up here towards the end of the show today. Again, thank you so much for obviously joining us. I'm happy that got the mic to work today, so that's good. It was for show yesterday. We were just using a different kind of outward mic, but this one hopefully sounds a little bit better for you guys. And of course, we always sound great no matter what on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. So make sure you give us a like, subscribe, and a follow. Punch that notification bell and join the movement that is Inside Edge and our podcasting network. You got sports coverage again tonight. Eli and Chad, just not too long after my show here at 6:30, going to have Tim Alcorn on. He's the radio play-by-play announcer of the Cleveland Cavaliers. They tip off at 7:30 tonight, around 7:30, maybe a little before, in their matchup against the Detroit Pistons in the second round of the playoffs. So that'll be a great interview with Chad and Eli and Tim Alcorn. And I'm going to leave the pregame to those guys when it comes to the Cavs. Who better to talk about it than the person who talks about them literally every day for his job? So, and who's around the players all the time. So excited to hear that. after the show tonight. Make sure you guys stay tuned. You still got time. Again, don't forget, 7:30 is when the polls close. You can vote before the Cavs game while you're out. You can go out before you get picking up a pizza, before you're picking up food for the family, dinner, whatever it is, to watch the Cavs in their playoff pursuits tonight of getting back to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in what feels like, since 2018. You can also stop and just cast those votes on some key races across not only the state of Ohio, but if you're in some local communities too. There are some levies and different issues on the ballot when you head over to the polls today. And if you have already, so let's start at the top and work our way down. It's the governor's race, as Mike DeWine will bow his head and exit after a run at the top of the top seat of Ohio. It's looking like it's going to be Amy Acton versus Vivek Ramaswamy. Again, primary, which means there's Republicans running against some Republicans. There's Democrats running against some Democrats. The top vote getter for each party, of course, would advance into the general election, which will take place this coming November. But nevertheless, those have been the two frontrunners. It's believed that they will pull ahead and be the two to be the finalists for it. We kind of talked a little bit about Dr. Amy Acton yesterday. If you don't remember, if you're from the state of Ohio, or again, you're watching and maybe you're curious, like, who's that? So Dr. Amy Acton actually was the, I guess, what was her official title? Like the chief medical strategist or whatever it was during the coronavirus pandemic here in Ohio, worked directly with Mike DeWine, but she quit out of that job because of public pressure and scrutiny and just couldn't take it. There was threats to her family as well. There are people showing up, I believe, at her house, which I never condone. But at the same point, you got to know what you're getting yourself into when you're in this landscape. And lo and behold, 6 years later, she's going to be most likely the Democratic candidate for governor here in the state of Ohio. On the other side, Vivek Ramaswamy, he's been a supporter of President Trump. And I'm assuming if he hasn't already, will get President Trump's endorsement for governor of the state of Ohio. Of course, Mike DeWine being a Republican, despite what some people think. This has been a general red state for quite some time, even before DeWine, of course. John Kasich, technically a Republican as well, though he did switch. So it seems independent, Democrat, whatever he is now. Who knows? If he's even still around, I guess you guys can tell me better than I know at this point. I've been out of Ohio politics for a minute. But nevertheless, Vivek and Dr. Amy going to go head-to-head most likely. Senator's race is interesting because it looks like John Husted, who is the incumbent for the Republicans, is going to go unopposed and win the primary, and he'll be looking to battle the winner of Sherrod Brown and Ron Kincaid. Interesting matchup. Sherrod Brown actually was a senator at one point. Of course, John Husted taking that seat, and now Sherrod Brown running back, trying to get back into this race. I can tell you firsthand, I've interviewed Sherrod. Look forward to hopefully getting him possibly on the program if he's able to beat Ron Kincaid. Could be a fun matchup. But again, looking like Sherrod does have an advantage because he's been in the public eye for quite some time and he's held that position before. So barring some sort of upset, it looks like Sherrod Brown will most likely be the candidate. And Sherrod Brown versus John Husted, former lieutenant governor. That should be a fun matchup for the technically the only national seat that's up for grabs here in the state of Ohio when it comes to their U.S. senator. It's a big deal when it comes to the House and the Senate. That's a big spot. I guess the one thing and the one highest hotly contested primary race that even our friends over on 1420 The Answer, Jake Underwood, he's had this kind of as a main topic throughout this election cycle so far, has been the Secretary of State position between Rob Sprague and Marcel Sturbich. They're both Republicans, obviously, and it's been back and forth. There's been a lot of contention between both sides. There's been a lot of grandstanding, and this guy is a nice guy but doesn't know what he wants, and he wanted to be governor and he can't do that, so now he's taking this position. So that's going to be fun to watch. Secretary of State's a big deal when you're talking about running the entirety of Ohio when it comes to what that position entails. So curious to see how that all breaks down. That could be honestly one of the closest primaries we see when it comes to in-party fighting here in Ohio on the statewide level. And there are plenty of levies on the docket. Again, I'm going to break down Parma's just because they have gotten the most eyeballs. But if you live in Lakewood, Independence, Strongsville, Brunswick Hills, Twinsburg, Wadsworth, Lorraine, all of these communities, and I think Strongsville is actually kind of one of the more surprising ones. Levies are on the ballot. And I know there are certain things I believe in Strongsville. They have an idea for some new schools that they want to try and build. So they're kind of going to the people for that. I know Lorraine, there's been a lot of pushback on Lorraine. Dr. Jeffrey Graham, who's their current superintendent, actually was in charge of Parma schools for a number of years when all the fraud and the embezzlement and the mismanagement of tens of millions of dollars took place. He then decided the next best step was to go to Lorraine schools, but he's there trying to get this passed. Again, we'll have full results, obviously, on tomorrow's show to be able to kind of break down what passed, what didn't, who's in those spots, who the finalists are. But one issue, one levy we're going to be watching very closely, and there's a school board meeting, I believe, happening as we speak, is the Parma schools levy. Their mission is to get rid of some other property tax levies, I believe, 3 of them, in replacement of this levy that would draw $50 million for the schools, I believe, over its 10 years, opposed to $40 million for the previous 3. So they get $10 more million into Parma City schools. And I guess a lot of the pushback has been, no, there's not a lot of trust in the school board and the school district. And I guess my question would be, why would you trust at this point? The way things have gone, the way things have headed. Obviously, yesterday's show, we had a good breakdown of some of the security measures that Parma schools were going to try to take when it comes to, the issues that have been kind of rampant with Parma schools. And then obviously it led into a very unfortunate situation with the death of a student just a few weeks ago, again, taking her own life at Valley Forge High School. And even before that, the unrest with the school board, the open school board position, because one of their members had resigned, doesn't really breed stability when you talk about Parma schools. And again, still looking forward to hopefully getting Ashley McTaggart on this week. She obviously had a conflict yesterday, and hopefully she's open and willing to reschedule. So hoping to get her either tomorrow or Friday to stop by the show and kind of get her thoughts on where everything stands. And I think honestly, it may be a better idea to get her on tomorrow or Friday because we'll have clarity on this levy and what this means for the district moving forward. She's obviously been in that position since 2023. So she's been entrenched in this now for a few years, and just kind of the overall viewpoints of people and how they view Parma City schools and this board. So excited to hopefully get her on this week and to kind of get some reaction, because there's a very little chance that this actually passes. Good intentions, and I think there is hope, but at the same points, man, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to pass a levy right now when there's been just so much unrest and unsureness and a lot of pushback. And it's not just a couple parents. It's not just a little protest outside of Normandy before school board meetings. It's like widespread. There's a lot of people that are not happy with the direction of Parma schools right now. And that could lead to a lot of things. It could lead to possibly more resignations. It could lead to people losing those board spots when their turns come up for election purposes, which that'll be something we focus on come November. If any seats are going to be up, anything like that, they have to fill one. And I think they were taking applications up until today. So we'll see how that all shakes out too. But there's a lot of question marks in the city of Parma and with their school and with the board and with this levy now. And again, for many years, there was an issue, and it actually got, I think at one point, almost 47% of the vote. It was close, and 47, 48%. This is back when Dr. Charles Smilek was running as superintendent and just trying to find a way to get people's attention. And it was to build the one high school in the middle where Parma High used to be. And that was probably the closest they ever got in the past, I want to say 10, 15 years to really getting the public almost on their side. That didn't happen. Dr. Smilek left. Dr. Hunt's in now. He's gotten a lot of criticism too for how he's handled things. So interesting story we'll watch for tomorrow, because this is a big deal when it comes to local school districts, plus all these districts that are looking to either kind of upgrade or do better things. Definitely going to be fun to watch how it all shakes out tonight. Again, don't forget, 7:30 is when the polls close, so you still have time before it's too late to get out there and vote in those areas. Again, I mentioned too, not only Parma, but Lakewood, Independence, Strongsville, Brunswick Hills, Twinsburg, Wadsworth, and Lorraine all have levies on the ballot for different reasons, purposes, whatever it is. We did share the link to that. 19 was great with kind of getting you a big summary. Channel 19 News, that's shared on the Unfiltered with Kyle Cornell Facebook page. Make sure you click on that, give us a follow, a like on there as well. It's also where you can find some of these, again, shows, streaming, some clips, all that good stuff. So it's voting day. And obviously, like I said, we're going to break down the results tomorrow. We'll have final races as far as who is running for what. We'll know what directions each party is going and kind of the fate of some of these school districts tomorrow. So that's going to be fun. With that, we'll take a break. On the other side, going to get into gas prices. I know it's on everyone's mind. It's a lot. We've got some numbers for you and really kind of to talk more about why we're here and what the future is going to look like. Not only for the next several weeks, but I mean, how long is this going to last? Are we going to be paying? It cost me $76 to fill up my Chevrolet Impala last week, and I was just a little bit over empty. So for a full tank of gas, it was almost $80 for a car. So I can only imagine if you have a truck, anything like that. We're going to break that down. Don't forget some issues at the zoo and a really sad local story involving a referee, and it hits close to home for me too because I was always taught playing sports, respect the refs, all that. So we're going to get into all of that on the way here on Unfiltered with Kyle Cornell. Back after this. Do not turn off that stream.
Hey, everybody. How's it going? It's Chad Bryan, Eli Moon here from Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. We just had a great show. And if you tuned in, you saw we talked Cavaliers. They're moving on against the Detroit Pistons. We talked about that and Jaylen Brown, the Boston Celtics, and a lot of drama there. Over there in Massachusetts. Chad, we talked about all that, but of course, I couldn't get away from talking baseball with my baseball guy, Chad Bryan. We talked some Gardos.
We talked a lot of Gardos. Jose Ramirez coming up on a huge, huge milestone. If you missed it, please go back, watch the episode, check that out. It's amazing. He's about to join a very, very, very exclusive list. And should Austin Hedges be playing every day behind the plate? Should he be catching every day for the Guardians?
We talked about that and so much more. You're going to have to catch us tomorrow. Tomorrow, Tuesday Top 5. And I'm laying it down. The top 5 cheeseburgers I've ever eaten from a reasonable place. Tune in tomorrow. Same time, 10 to 11 p.m. here on the Inside Edge Network. Follow at Inside Edge Net on all the socials. See you then.
Mosser Moments Photography is a husband and wife wedding photography team based in Cleveland, owned and operated by Ryan and Hallie Mosser. For the past 10 years, they've captured more than 100 weddings across Northeast Ohio and beyond, always working together as a true two-person team. Their style centers on authentic, emotional storytelling, documenting the real moments between two people in love and creating images that feel natural, comfortable, and true to the couple. Rooted in Northern Ohio, but inspired by their travels, Ryan and Hallie bring a warm, personal approach to every wedding day. Their work blends experience, consistency, and a genuine passion for helping couples relive their best day through timeless photography. Learn more at MosserMomentsPhotography.com.
Clean energy, bold flavors, and no jitters. See why people won't shut up about Dubby. Clean energy, no jitters or crash. Whether you're starting your workday or getting ready to exercise, Dubby Energy helps you lock in and focus. With over 15 flavors to choose from, you can't miss. Order Dubby Energy right now by using the QR code on your screen and use the promo code INSIDEEDGE10 to receive 10% off your order. Dubby Energy, your energy-focused sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader.
And I'm getting mighty tired of your trifling ways and of listening to that bray.
And welcome back in, everybody. Unfiltered with Kyle Cornell here on your Tuesday. It is May 5th, 2026. Hey, happy Cinco de Mayo for everyone out there that celebrates or just needs a reason to celebrate something. Why not? A lot of going on in the news today, as well as here locally in Cleveland. They're not here. They're in Detroit, but the Cavs, of course, going to be on the road playing the Pistons tonight. Don't forget, tune in 6:30 here on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. Eli and Chad Bryan going to have a special interview with Tim Alcorn breaking down the game as they head into what should be an interesting series. Again, we'll let them obviously talk about that more, and I'll be joining them for the post-game show tonight. So make sure you guys tune into that after the game and the final horn sounds. We'll have a lot to break down, and we'll talk about it a little bit tomorrow too on Unfiltered when the time comes. But in the meantime, mentioned the election stuff. Don't forget, obviously, polls close at 7:30 tonight for the primary here in the state of Ohio. A lot going on from statewide races, one national race, and plenty of levies. You can get the full breakdown again on our Facebook page. Just go to Unfiltered with Kyle Cornell. Type that in the search bar. Give us a follow and keep yourself up to date on all the stuff that's going on here and around Northeast Ohio and the state in general, even some national stuff too. Why not? With that, and of course, don't forget, hey, ring that bell. Notifications, subscribe, like, all the good stuff to Inside Edge and the podcasting network, of course. And check out the website too, InsideEdgeNetwork.com. I mean, fantastic website. All the breakdowns, the different personalities, the shows, all that good stuff. Make sure you guys take a look at that too. Plus, hey, we got a merch shop, by the way. Did you know that? I mean, you could get merch from us. I'm currently in the process of begging Anthony just to send me some shit. But in the meantime, make sure you guys go ahead and use that website. Click the merch tab. God, what we got everything from like polos, t-shirts, there's cups, there's mugs, there's hats, the whole 9 yards. Take advantage of that at InsideEdgeNetwork.com. All right. Gas prices. This is the fun part. And this is where it's going to get a little political. So if you are afraid about it getting a little stuffy in the room, by all means, I understand. But still, and I thought it was kind of interesting when the pilot episode of Unfiltered came out and we went after someone who was running a Facebook page here that obviously had a very checkered past. I was called out immediately on that post for not going after the administration of the president. Good to know that, I couldn't even have a damn pilot without someone saying I need to go after Trump. That's fantastic. But there are some things that we're not very happy with right now. One of those is the fact that right now, in Cuyahoga County, the average gallon of gas is $4.90. Man, it makes those Obama years look like just cakewalk, right? I mean, good Lord. Yep, national average is at $4.48 per gallon. In case you're wondering, that's courtesy of AAA. That's 31 cents higher than last week. Remember when everyone said gas prices are going down and it's crazy? Yeah, I don't know about that. And it's not getting any better. There's some stuff on the Side Hustle Wrestling podcast we're going to talk about because they're supposed to go to the Middle East in June for a PLE event. And I don't know if they're going to be able to make it because this is not getting any better anytime soon. And it kind of begs the bigger question. And a lot of people on both sides of the aisle have asked this. Was it worth going in to Iran to do what the president said he was trying to do to keep them from having a nuclear weapon? How close was Iran truly to having that? And is it worth the struggle as we're getting now? Anytime the president's been asked about this in multiple scrums or interviews or whatever it is, he basically goes back to it's the price to pay for Iran not to have a nuke. And he doesn't really have an answer as far as when this is going to end. At first we thought maybe it was only going to be a few weeks. I know some people were saying, I'll give it a couple weeks and we'll see how it goes. I think we're a couple months into this now. And it feels like we're no closer to the end than we are the beginning. Remember how quick the war in Ukraine was supposed to be back in 2022? I remember covering that and thinking, okay, yeah, this is going to be like a month. And then eventually some sort of deal will get brokered and we'll all be able to move on. And that's still going on. I don't want to be doom and gloom, a bad person to think about here. But at the same point, if that issue, that thing is still going on to today, what do you think is going to happen with this? Like, this is not good. And a lot of people, and honestly, a lot of Republicans have been like, man, we did not want this. The whole premise of President Trump running for a second term and kind of the basis of his first term was No more forever wars. No going in to these places. And you obviously had the situation, I should say, in Venezuela, and that worked itself out quickly. And I don't know if that got some false confidence with the president, like, all right, cool. Now we're going to be able just to do this with Iran too. It's going to be the same thing. Different kind of people, man. They're both, if you meet Iranians or Venezuelans, they're both lovely. But I mean, and there's obviously people that are far gone, no matter what country you're from. But in general, most Iranians and Venezuelans I've met have been nice. But this is a little different. This isn't a, hey, how you doing on the street? This is, we don't like who's running your country. We're going to bomb the shit out of you, and we're going to take it, and we're going to restructure it and deal with it. And they're like, no. Like, what the hell? And it's a struggle. It's a back and forth. I know the president put out something, I believe it was either yesterday or the night before, saying that they're still trying to work and try to shepherd, which is an ironic term coming from the Middle East, shepherd ships through the Strait of Hormuz, which, man, good luck. There's mines, there's shit going on there. It's a very sticky and messy situation. And if you think that this is going to be a short-term thing and that, oh, well, don't worry, the president's going to be able to figure it out and we'll be in like a week or two, we'll have gas prices down. I hope you're right. I do, because I can't afford this shit anymore. I'll tell you that. Like, I know that, we have this beautiful podcasting network and I make the big bucks, right? But still, this is not easy. Like, this is not easy at all when it comes to just you and I out there just trying to get gas. And there's only so much those fuel perks can do at get-go before you're still paying a shit ton of money for gas on a day in, day out basis. I remember back, it was towards the end of Obama's second term, and I remember gas being so cheap. Like, it was, even I think the end of Obama, beginning of Trump, we were looking at prices that were in the ones. Could you imagine driving down the street right now and seeing $1.89 for a gallon of gas? Could you imagine that? This is the 250th year, I believe, of America too. So why don't we do $2.50 for the year? We just have it like locked in. I'm not an idiot. I know there's a bunch of different moving parts with that, but maybe it's just wishful thinking on my end. But how crazy would that be if you wake up tomorrow and all of a sudden you just saw the same prices that were in 2014, 2015, 2016, 17, all that stuff? It's crazy. Think where we are today. Even hell, just 2 months ago, prices were under $3. You're like, all right, we're moving in the right direction. We like that. And then now, again, like I said, $4.90 average per gallon in Cuyahoga County, $4.48 national average. And I know there's some places that are, hey, you're shooting for the moon, you're landing on the stars when it comes to, California, like Northern California, $6 a gallon. When I was down in Phoenix, almost a month ago now, gas prices there were $1 more than they were here. So if my calculations are correct, they're probably paying almost $6 a gallon as well at this point. I mean, I think on Gas Buddy as well, there was maybe 9 stations in Ohio that had less than $4 per gallon gas. And good luck trying to find them. I mean, it's some of them may be close, some of them may be far. I don't know. Is it worth the trip? You decide. But it makes you question what we're doing. And I think that's why this midterm is important. I know a lot of political pundits have said there's going to be a blue wave and there's going to be a huge upturn. And that's honestly, it used to be every 4 years and it's turned into every 2, where you see this kind of swell of the other party kind of take control, so to speak. The House will be up for grabs. The Senate, it's going to be close too. And even here in Ohio, you talk about if Sherrod Brown is the person that goes through, him versus John Husted. You'd like to think Husted has the edge, but Sherrod Brown held a senator spot for a long time. Like, he has name recognition in the state. He will get votes. It will be close. So I don't know, man. I will that cause things to shift? Will that lead to a pullout? I mean, but that's not till November. And then when people actually get sworn in, it's after the fact. So again, you're kind of hoping and praying you're going to be able to get some of this stuff done. But even then, that's still another, 7 months, 8 months, once people are sworn in, of having to wait for changes. Are you going to be okay with paying for this kind of gas? I mean, and it's only getting higher. I just mentioned national average jumped 31 cents in a week. Like, that's not good. there's concern. And I know, again, a lot of division. And if you don't agree with everything someone says, that automatically means you're in the other party, which is bullshit in its own right. That's why George Washington was my favorite president, because he said political parties will be the death of this country. It's why he was the only president not to be in one. But my God, man, it's a lot. And again, for average Joes like you and me that are just out here just trying to pick up my son, trying to take him to school, trying to, go to my one hobby I have. I play tennis, like in my free time. It's something I do that's just for fun that I enjoy. And like, it costs a lot to drive around. Hell, we go to church in Niles, in Ohio. Myself, Double A, Jake Underwood, who's part of the Jake Underwood show over on 1420 The Answer. We all go together. And man, it's a little drive out there. And we love Pastor Roy and we love our church. But at the same point, like, it's not cheap doing this stuff, man. It gets hard. So hopefully things get worked out and we can kind of figure out what the hell we're doing, because got to tell you right now, it doesn't look like we know what we're doing at all. And it shows. It does. So there'll be another time to dive deeper into President Trump and how I feel about him and how I feel about the state of our public affairs. Hell, maybe it'll happen sometime this week. I don't know. But for now, we're going to leave it there and just patiently watch not only the news cycles, but also Gas Buddy, watching AAA, hoping that we see these prices shift down a little bit. Please. Another break here on Unfiltered with Kyle Cornell along the Inside Edge podcasting network. When we come back, have you seen the stuff going on at the zoos here in Ohio? Yeah. No, it's not a new giraffe or a baby rhino. It's something a little more serious. We'll dive into that next. Stay with us.
Find us online at InsideEdgeNetwork.com. That's InsideEdgeNetwork.com for the latest information on all your favorite Inside Edge Network personalities, favorite shows, and our network partners. And also, we are independent. We are grassroots. Support us and support your local community digital sports leader with our merch store. Yes, we have a merch shop. There it is right there. Look at all the great stuff you can get there. The Champion Packable jacket. Got the Inside Edge Network t-shirt. How about hats? How about a glass? How about an official polo from the Inside Edge Network? We got water bottles as well. And you can customize it. Multiple different colors and sizes that we have available for you. That's right. Rep the network. Support us here at the Inside Edge Network. We are Cleveland's digital leader for sports, entertainment, mental health, and the culture. Check out our merch store right now at InsideEdgeNetwork.com. That's InsideEdgeNetwork.com.
Whether you're searching for a baseball autographed by your favorite World Series slugger, a signed football by an iconic Hall of Famer, or the jersey of a world-famous soccer star, you've come to the right place. Here at SportsMemorabilia.com, the web's leading source of authentic sports memorabilia, you'll find more than 500,000 authentic products from nearly every professional sports league, team, and player. Not only will you find your next prized sports possession with ease thanks to superb customer service and tremendous site experience, but you'll have the satisfaction and peace of mind that every product listed comes complete with a certificate of authenticity and is fully backed by the SportsMemorabilia.com lifetime authenticity guarantee.
And I'm getting mighty tired of your trifling ways and of listening to that bray.
Welcome back in Unfiltered here with Kyle Cornell on your Tuesday, May 5th, 2026. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Happy Election Day here in the great state of Ohio. Again, a quick reminder, folks, do not forget to punch the bell, like, and subscribe to the Inside Edge Podcasting Network over on all the different platforms. Inside Edge Net, of course, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, everything. And don't forget about Unfiltered with Kyle Cornell on Facebook as well. I had to literally bang my head against the wall, but I made a social media page for the show. I think here in the first weekish, we've got almost 3,000 views of the page. So appreciate you guys for, of course, clicking and looking over and seeing. Again, we share local news that's happening in the area, and obviously daily now, Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Kind of like you're a little bit of a catch up here on what's going on, not only in Northeast Ohio, but around the country, around the world, especially talk about Iran and gas prices and all that, like we did last segment. There is plenty to get into every single day with us here on Unfiltered. Did you see this? So I don't know if you frequent the Cleveland Metro Park Zoo, and I've actually thought about possibly getting someone on from the zoo to talk about, summer activities, all that stuff, because again, this is an informational show, and not every interview needs to be super hard hitting and just, we're bringing all this crazy stuff. Like, we want to try and keep some things light as well if we can, and just bring the light some stuff that's going on in the area. But they had a bit of an issue, and they're not alone. This past weekend, Sunday, it was in the news. If you saw it or not, there was an evacuation of the Metro Park Zoo here in Cleveland. Again, listed as an out of abundance of caution. The FBI getting involved in this, and this is not the first time. There's some bomb threats going on. That actually happened at the Akron Zoo on Sunday too. They had to be evacuated down there. There's been some calls in recent weeks in Toledo and Columbus as well. Anytime you get into a place where there's families and kids and all that stuff, it gets a little nerve-wracking, at least for me. Mentioned I worked in news for over 7 years. I was news director. I covered a lot. I've seen a lot of really unfortunate things happen. And, it's been hard, some of the stuff you've had to report on. And the last thing I want to be reporting on is, a bomb going off at the Metro Park Zoo. The fact that people do this, and we mentioned kind of the swatting issue yesterday in Medina, and the different threats that have been posed at schools and everything too. And it's like, man, this is ridiculous. Like, as a society, as a people, we have to figure this shit out because it is not good. I literally could not believe what I was reading when I looked in the article on Channel 3 and seeing, again, when the FBI has to get involved at a freaking zoo, and it's not like a cheetah got out. it's chasing people around. Like, which is also not good either. That's fucking tough. But like this, we actually had, I think they had wolves escape at one point relatively recently at the zoo here in Cleveland. But man, this kind of stuff, when they have all that stuff going on down there too, you're talking about, I think they're rebuilding the rainforest and they're kind of working through that. If it's not already open, it should be open, you would think, relatively soon. And that's a huge project, moving some things around. They've always got promotions going on down there. Like I said, eventually going to have somebody from the zoo on to talk about that. But this is something you just don't plan to deal with. And I think it's become normalized in our country in these kind of public spaces and events. I haven't seen it too much at like sporting events recently, thank goodness. I know the World Cup is coming to the U.S., Canada, Mexico this summer, and we're going to have some pretty cool programming when it comes to that, which we'll announce whenever AA loosens the chain a little bit around my neck and lets me speak. But like those kind of events, the ones that draw all these people, and then this is just like, it's a Sunday afternoon, morning with family, just trying to go out and have a good time, try to enjoy some decent weather when we have it, because I'm fully convinced every time we do this show now, it's just going to be raining. But figuratively and figuratively. But I mean, like this, it just doesn't make any sense, man. Like, why are we going down this road? And I keep bringing back up the mental health side of this, and that's obviously a mission of this network too, is promote mental health. And I know some of these calls are coming from India and overseas, and they're just fake and they're squatting and it's scamming, whatever, and that's fine. Like, I know that we can't get rid of everything overnight, but man, if we just put a little more emphasis on dealing with some mental health issues and working through some of these things with people that think it's okay, to just call up places and threaten them, and have no intention, obviously, of going through any of it, but just making people's lives difficult. Like, you're making me think twice about taking my son to the zoo this summer. Like, that's not okay. Like, we should be able to do that. This is, again, supposed to be the greatest country in the world, and I don't feel comfortable taking my son to a place that should be fun, that he loves going to. Families read this stuff and they think twice about this kind of stuff. Like, and then it obviously pulls away because, again, you pay to go to the zoo. It all works itself out. They're able to do more things there, expand, add more exhibits. I think at one point they had polar bears. I don't know if they have them anymore. They might. I don't know. Like, I know that was a big thing for me. I'll tell that story one day on air about how my mom lost me when I was we went to the zoo back in summer camp when I was in elementary school. So it's a special place, and they've done a lot of great things down there. And this is not something you want to have to think about. Like, it just blows my mind where we're at as a country, as a community, as a group, to have this kind of thing be in the headlines and a story people are talking about. Like, we should be able to do this. We should be able to go to a Guardians game or a Cavs game or Browns or whatever it is and not have to worry about threats. We should be able to do this kind of stuff. And again, it's ties into this whole rhetoric, and it's a little political, but about this division and, I hate this group so much, I need to do something. And you've seen those kind of acts happen with, the assassination of Charlie Kirk and the different shootings at schools. And then it compounds from stuff like this that seems like maybe it's not that big a deal because, well, nothing happened and it was okay and we're all good. And, we can go back to the zoo tomorrow and everything like that. And it's all fine. And don't live in fear. And I agree. You shouldn't live in fear, but it's kind of hard not to when you're constantly reminded of this kind of shit that's going on because it's constantly happening. And I don't know what the overarching answer is. Again, like I said, mental health, I think, is a huge key. But I mean, the FBI is getting involved, and it's like, man, like, I said the story yesterday when I was in radio and television, my vocational class at Normandy High School, when I was, growing up, obviously in the Parma City School District, and obviously went to Parma as my main school, Parma High, which doesn't exist anymore. Then went to Normandy, and we had maybe 2 threats in my 4 years, but still 2 threats in 4 years. Like, again, math says 1 every 2 years, I think. But like, we live in this time, man, and it sucks. And I know there's been things that have happened. I know a couple days ago was the anniversary of the Kent State shooting, and there's been a lot that's happened in our history, at schools, at public places, all this stuff. Hell, you can go back to just 6 years ago with the riots and everything after George Floyd and everything too. Like, there was a lot going on. But I don't know. Quite frankly, I'm tired of being tired and worried about this kind of shit. It'd be really cool if we could just like live our lives and not have to worry about all this and, not let certain divisions and political bias and all this affect friendships, relationships. I don't know how many people I've talked to recently. I know this is going off on a tangent off of the zoo, but like, people stop being friends with like their best friends because, oh, well, he's a Democrat or he's a liberal or he's a conservative, he's a Republican, he's a Trumper, all that stuff. It's like, man, like, get past this shit. There's a reason why we're talking about local and state races, because those matter, believe it or not, a hell of a lot more than who's president of the United States at this point anymore. It's about local and state government. Those are the people that can immediately make a difference for you and what you want in your community, in your county, in your state, whatever. Like, yeah, I'm not saying the president isn't important. He's a spokesperson of the country, essentially. He runs the ship. I get that. But at the same point, how many times do you hear from the president of Target? How many times do you hear from the president of whatever? Any business not named Elon Musk at one point. Like, I mean, like, you just don't hear a lot from them. They do a lot of their work behind the scenes, boardrooms, meeting rooms. And the president, though he has obviously a very public-facing job, it's the people that are closer in these groups. It's, the managers. In this case, it's mayors, governors, that kind of stuff that handle more of the day-to-day stuff. He's just here to make sure that the walls don't burn down. at the end of the day. Like these guys, these girls, all these people are here to try and work through all this shit and figure it out. So focus more on today. It's why I emphasize again, voting's still open until 7:30 tonight here in Ohio. You got the gubernatorial race this year, or again, a U.S. senator. One of our spots is up there. All the levies that are going on, like for these different school districts. I mean, there's a lot to pay attention to locally. I ask you to focus on that, and hopefully we can kind of get this mental stuff under control too, so we can stop having stories like this, where again we're evacuating zoos of all places. The only time we should be evacuating zoos, like I said before, if there are wolves that escape or something like that, or there are animals that are out. That's the only time that should be a thing. So, no, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I don't like having to talk about it, but that's what this show is for, and you're going to get my unfiltered opinion on that. And if you don't like it, no, tough shit. Last break. When we come back, talk about tough stories, man. This one's hard. This one's going to be hard, and our buddy Eli is going to chime in too, because he knows the person that was affected with this. All stemming from a flag football game here in Northeast Ohio. Can't believe it, but we're going to talk about it next here on Unfiltered. Stay with us. Discover our collection of body mists made with clean, minimal ingredients. Handcrafted with natural essential oils and clean ingredients, they offer a natural alternative to synthetic fragrances. Perfect for sensitive skin and those seeking clean, mindful self-care, and the perfect gift for you or your special someone. Courtesy of Alley Rose Fragrances. First-time customers, use that promo code InsideEdge20 to receive 20% off your order. AlleyRoseFragrances.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader.
If you're not staying out till midnight, what are you doing? I understand everybody has to work, but you miss Midnight Run Trivia. Myself and Eli. If you don't know the playoff schedule and you don't know which network the playoff schedule's on, we don't either. So check that out. Midnight Run Trivia. Plus, we talked about Jared Allen. He was an absolute beast, and the Cavaliers needed to get that game 7 because things would have been a lot different. Coming up tonight, we react to Cavs-Pistons game 1. Hopefully, we are in a positive, celebratory mood talking about Cavs-Pistons tonight. That's Midnight Run, tonight at midnight, with myself, AA Anthony Alford, right here on the Inside Edge Network.
And I'm getting mighty tired of your trifling ways and of listening to that bray.
For all time's sake. As time goes by. It's been a long time. Some of the old songs.
Welcome back, folks. Final segment here on Unfiltered with Kyle Cornell here on your Tuesday, May 5th, 2026. Again, happy Election Day. Happy Cinco de Mayo. I know I'm only speaking for myself, but I'm getting free queso and chips from Chipotle today. That's why I'm going to celebrate. And watch some Cavs basketball. And don't forget for yourself to make sure you watch 6:30 here on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. Eli and Chad Bryan, they host Primetime. Of course, every weekday night at 10. They're going to have a special guest. Tim Alcorn going to join them before the game to talk about the Cavs and their series against Detroit Eastern Conference semifinals. Going to be a great interview, so catch that. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the Inside Edge Podcasting Network across all different social media platforms and our website as well, Inside Edge, again, network.com. And the Unfiltered with Kyle Cornell Facebook page. Do me a favor, folks, too, if you feel so inclined. I spent a lot of my time in news reporting, and then, like I mentioned before, was a news director for a few years, had my own show out in North Dakota. But what I really appreciated was my connection to the community, and I think it's a little different here because I'm from here. So that being said, if you have anything you want us to look into, you have anything you're curious about, you want to know more on, you want me to discuss on air, that kind of thing, make sure you shoot me a message on the Facebook page. Again, it's Unfiltered with Kyle Cornell. Search that in the search bar. You'll see our logo, which is awesome. And you'll be able to click follow and shoot me a message, and we can get to work for you. That's the whole point, is to talk about some stuff, be unfiltered, but also be honest and true about what's going on here in Northeast Ohio. And with that being said, this story was sad, and there'll be updates, I'm sure, about the condition of this person in the coming days. The last we heard, it was not looking great. But if you're wondering what we're talking about, there was an issue down the Brookside Reservation. I actually played flag football down there at one point for a cup of coffee, involving a referee and another person. Now the person owns, I believe, is it Bulldog Ice Cream or something like that? He plays in a flag football league down there, and there was a call that the referee made that he wasn't too fond of, and there, I guess, has been issues in this league, as I've seen from different people reacting to it on social media for quite some time. But it got a little, and I won't even say a little, I'll say a lot too far. 19-year-old Timothy Ganrubel, I should say, Eli, if you want to throw that up on the screen, the mugshot. This is the young man who, his father is the person who basically called him and said, take care of this guy. Ran him over with his car. The referee, who is in the hospital right now, critical condition, dealing with some severe head injuries. I believe last time I checked, he was on a respirator, needed help breathing. And it is not a good situation. And you feel for his family and that situation. And man, this is tough. Having the sports background, I do too, and always being taught to respect referees. And I've had disagreements with refs and all that, but you let it go when the whistle blows and the game ends. I'm always one of the first people to fist bump or dap up the refs and let them know they're appreciated, because that job is difficult. I've coached middle school. I've played sports throughout my entire life. It is one of the hardest jobs with there's like essentially no good press at all for these people, whether it's the NFL, NBA, any league, any officiating group. You never, hell, golf officials get shit on constantly or whatever it is too. Like, you don't know the rule. Like, it happens all over the place. You rarely see a story where people are like, oh, they did such a great job. Hell, the NFL's hiring replacement refs because they can't even work shit out with the ones they have now. Like, it's a real and this is a flag football game. This hits a little closer to home because Eli, I'm going to bring him in here now, does know to a point the person that was hit and is going through this. And so yeah, Eli, I mean, I guess, and I know this is it's me, Unfiltered.
Yeah.
But your thoughts on this, man? I know there was, you know, the guy. I'm not saying you're best friends with him when you went out to dinner last night, but you obviously, you know, the person that was affected by this. Your thoughts on the situation, man, because this is a tough story to cover.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle, to be honest with you, first off, I mean, thoughts and prayers, out to the family and to Mr. Bryan, who's what a lot of us at Bethany Lutheran knew him as, or know him as. And, first off, you don't want to see this happen to anybody overall. First off, a flag football game. I mean, look, we joke all the time about, me and you may argue about the Saints and the Browns and all this other stuff, but at the end of the day, I never should get that deep. And I think, a flag football game that's crazy. Mr. Bryan, we knew him at Bethany Lutheran. We know him as the guy who would just pick up the, whatever was needed to be done and do it. He was more part of the janitorial, the cleaning service, but he did a lot. I mean, stop in classrooms and say, what's up? And, we talked for 5-10 minutes. And I went to Bethany for 7th and 8th grade year. I switched because the school I was going to was going over a complete overhaul, and Papa Moon and Mama Moon said, we're going to move you guys all over. So I was the oldest, so I did 7th and 8th grade there. But Mr. Bryan made a big impact on a lot of people, just a smile on his face, making it happy. Let's be real. School is never where a kid wants to be. I mean, you're like, come on, man. I got to be here for how many hours? And he put a smile on a lot of people's faces. Very go-lucky, really good basketball. I mean, every now and then he pick up the basketball and he shoot it, in the gym. Just full of life, man. And as it speaks, him doing the flag football refereeing, somebody that served the community, that was just big on putting smiles on everybody else's faces. So it breaks my heart, Kyle. Like you said, I'm not best friends with him. I haven't had too much contact, if any contact, really, since I've been out of 8th grade. But I will tell you, as soon as I saw the story and we talked about it and it started flooding, a bunch of, people I went to school with, flooding, the timelines on social media about Mr. Bryan and how could this happen? This makes me so angry. It breaks my heart. It just breaks my heart, man. I'm an empath at heart. So, I feel for people in general, but somebody that like literally spent so much time wanting to put a smile on everybody else's face. And now here he is struggling for his life. I hope he can make a quick turnaround. And it's heartbreaking, man.
Well, again, we pray for him and we hope things get better. It's not looking great. And that's the part that it's like, what's the necessary response for not agreeing with a referee in a flag football game? Like, you're not betting on DraftKings for this thing. Like, what are we talking about? Like, this is kind of insane that we're even having this kind of conversation about something so inconsequential to the grander scheme of it's really worth possibly taking this man's life. This guy, this Timothy, Roble guy, he's $30,000 bond. He's got some felony charges on the books. He apparently tried to hide the car at his dad's work. Like after the stuff went down, like there's so much to unpack with this, and we will never have enough time because it's just crazy how deep you can go down into all these stories individually. But like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah.
Why is this acceptable? Why is this a response? If you have a problem with somebody, you sort it out there and then you move the fuck on. This is not he banged my wife and I need to get back at him. No, he blew a whistle on a call you didn't like. So you're going to send your son to fucking kill him?
Yeah,
over flag football.
Yeah.
What the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, Kyle.
What the hell is wrong with people, man?
It's disheartening. I know we have just a few minutes left, so briefly I'll just say it's disheartening. And maybe we need to have a deeper look at the parents. You spent a good job talking earlier about and I'll give you kudos on air. You're a great dad. I see you in action doing your thing. I think people need to take time to maybe be around their kids more and teach them at a younger age, because the fact that he's grown enough to be tried as as an adult.
Eli, the thing with this is the dad told his son to do it.
Right.
This isn't like the kid. Oh, well, he's got to he should shape up and he's got to the dad is to blame.
Well, exactly. But I think there should be then at that point there should be a deeper role model, right? There somebody to step in and be like, dude, what you're doing right now, because here's the reality of the situation. This didn't just happen overnight where this dude snapped one day and just I'm going to go run this guy, Mr. Bryan over. It stemmed from whatever that's built to this point. And I think it's just a reflection of parents, role models, things like that, having a greater responsibility to teach their kids and not obviously not do what that dad just did, but just a deeper meaning of, hey, we need to teach you the right things. And I guess if we can't behave right, as a society, if we can't behave right and we can't have flag football and co-ed softball and beer league softball and all that, then I guess we just take the shit away, right? Because at the end of the day, you're right, Kyle. In this scenario, the dad told him, but there's so many cases of just, unfortunately, the newer generation's not being held in check.
No, they just go out and do it.
They get to 19, 20, and then they're screwed, So, because they do shit like this. So that's my thought.
Man, I appreciate that. It's honestly, it's insane that we're even having this talk. And, Eli, I appreciate the kind words too. I'm always learning and trying to be a better dad and trying to do more. Unfortunately, part of doing this means taking a little bit of time away, but I know when summer comes, I'll be able to spend more time with them. So that's great. But dude, this is the level we're going to when your parents are telling their kids to attack someone for them. One, you just come off as a bitch at that point. If you can't handle your own battles, you're going to send someone to handle it. Get he's a business owner and all that stuff. And again, it's not me telling people not to go to his business. I've already done that once. Every show is not going to be don't use this place, but man, there's just so much wrong with the situation. And again, we pray Mr. Bryan, hopefully he can get better and he'll be joining my prayer list I have, of course, when it comes down to just trying to figure this out, man, because that's tough. This is a very, very tough situation. And I don't know. I don't have anything else to say about it, man. It's rough. That's going to do it. For us here on Unfiltered. And again, you guys, you read the sign behind us here. It's how we end every show. Again, don't forget before you go, make sure that you do know, that you always belong. You matter. You're worth it. You're doing great. You're loved. You can do anything. You have a voice. And not only me, but the entire Inside Edge Podcasting Network believes in you. Back again tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Stay tuned, 6:30. Tim Alcorn on our airwaves with Eli and Chad Bryan. Catch you guys tomorrow on Unfiltered. Have a good Tuesday night. Go Cavs.